So they're asking to.
Yep.
They're already in game. They're asking for when
I'm ready when you
asking for
guys are. Yeah.
confirmation when we're ready. We could just hop on over
Yep. They're
to
just about
that
to start.
match. Yeah, and are we good? Yeesh, you good? All right.
All right. Tell them yes.
All right.
One thing I found
Just
very interesting, by the way, since we have just a little moment here before they start, or even after they start, at the Tan tournament. So obviously it's a giant round robin. The top seed in the Tan tournament last time won about 69% of their games, and the cutoff, the number 4 seed, was 59%. In this one, the cutoff was again 59%, almost exactly the same, 59.5 and 59.3, but the top was higher. Dowsy won 78%.
Oh yeah.
So we saw
Dowsy
the top two were a lot higher this time, but the cutoff was almost exactly 60% both times.
Yeah, Dowsy just went on a rampage. Like when I made number 1 seed for the Taeyeon tournament, I was actually a little bit surprised that I made number 1 seed because I didn't think I had done all that well. Although
you won 69% of your games, as it turns out. That's pretty good. That would have been good enough here too, but it would have been third this time.
Yeah, that's the impressive thing for sure.
Yes. Now this
Dowsy.
is Dowsy was obviously favored going into the last one. I don't think anyone was counting David W out, certainly, and he put up a good showing. This matchup feels very close to me.
Oh yeah, this is between the 2nd and 3rd seed, but as you mentioned, the drop between 2nd and 3rd is fairly significant in terms of win rate during the round robin.
Yeah, Lazybear did a lot better. We mentioned did it with the cheese strat a little bit of Taft there. He's not going to have that available to him. See, that's what's interesting. Yesterday, you played everyone twice, and that meant you played them once in each role, which means you could pick one kind of game, play it over and over again, and just hone it all day long, and there was no counterplay. Now, if you actually want to win this tournament, you can't just do that. You have to worry about the counterplay now in the semifinals and finals.
And the question is, will that hurt Lazybear? Lazybear is a very strong player normally, but this is how he got here is not necessarily how he's going to win here.
Yes. The skills that reward you, that get you into the top 4, are not the same skills that will help you actually win once you get there. I like that. It's a nice mix-up.
We get a 68% flirt over here. Ooh, delegate. Pretty early here. And it looks like Lazybear has been highlighting for going to bar. So
that is the first time we've seen that. Wow, that's unusual here, I would say.
Yeah, I actually do like to do that on this map because it's somewhat difficult sometimes to really memorize everything when you're trying to look behind the shark as well. So here, Lazybear looks like he's going to start. Oh.
Yeah, you never low-light Smallman. It doesn't matter if you are pretty sure they didn't go to bar. You can't risk it.
All right, we get some low lights off that contact, and the party's pretty narrowed down. But we've got some serious progress. We just need one statue visit, and our ST goes to statues. We can just finish both our missions right here.
This is going to be a really tough shot, but what's interesting, though, is that these are really good lowlights. You know, he's got too many highlights, too many suspects, potentially for the Purloin, but he really knows it's one of them.
Yeah. Now, does he remember that Salmon's been to statues?
He went to the very beginning. I like spacing it out like that, and it's not a swap. I don't see how he can shoot here. This is just a nice, clean game.
Yeah, he's looking for the swap, but he didn't see the swap, and that's it.
Yeah, so that was good. He went at the right time because it was middle shark. There was no temptation to take that shot thinking, oh no, if he swaps, I'm done. So it actually is good that he basically finished up before top shark came along.
Yeah, and I also think that's a little bit of a mistake on Lazybear's part. If he does know that Salmon's finished with statues there, you have to just count those missions in your head and think, you know, if they're done flirting, they're done. Right?
I think what it comes down to is, when you're looking at those highlights for the bar, for the Purloin, are you saying, all of these, I'm assuming, have done Purloin? Or do you have a couple you're actually more suspicious of, like the actual Purloiner? I think maybe, in this case, with Lazybear, he didn't treat them all equally, right? He didn't say, all these people are done, so I'm mission counting for all of them. I think he's thinking, all of them could have done it, but I've got some suspects, and I don't think Turnipboy was one of the big ones.
Early green flirt from Lazybear, and he goes back to the back. Will he time that?
I mean, that shark's about to give him a little bit of cover. That fin.
I think he's super visible here. There's no way this is like he thinks that this is going to be okay. So it's just a proper reject here. He doesn't even take the but he does go to statues immediately. green swap and put it back, but he's seen it. The statue is the thing.
Yeah, he didn't time it right. I know what he's trying to do there. Nope, did not time it right, and I think Turnipboy's going to nab him for this.
Like you can't be seen walking away even, right?
Yes.
For that to work.
No, you can't. It needs to be completely invisible. So you see what he was doing, right? He's trying to reject as the shark goes by, and he's never seen there. It's a good move, and he has the right character for it, and he did it almost perfectly. He was just a second and a half off, and now once this swap goes off, let's see what happens.
Yeah, does Turnipboy look back at that statue? That's the question. Because if he does, we'll probably see a lot of low light start.
It's actually pretty easy to mismemorize statues or to rememorize them. Say them to yourself again. There's the zoom. Now he gets it.
And he shoots Alice.
That's wow. So Lazybear did not quite do that right, but it works out anyway. Is basically what's going on. Wow.
Yeah. I actually think that he might, even though we thought he was seen back there, I think he might have gone unnoticed just because he did not pick up that highlight. It looked like Turnipboy was like looking at him as he was walking away.
Yep.
But
he wasn't. Yeah.
He didn't pick up the statue highlight. Is the thing. Right.
That's the significant thing, and it's 1-1 now. By the way.
Yeah. 1-1. All right.
And we are right into the next game.
Turnipboy on Oprah. Looks like we're chasing RST into some kind of conversation. Oh, they get redirected away.
I would be remiss if I did not mention, if I recall correctly, I think Lazybear won the Challenger tournament last year, and Turnipboy was the runner-up.
Oh,
I believe they met in the finals. They are both from that giant Steam Early Access class that jumped into Challenger and exploded it in size last season and became really freaking good, really freaking quick, along with Dowsy, too. So that group, and David W., too, actually, now that I think about it, all 4 finalists fit that general definition.
Never mind the fact that none of them actually are using Steam accounts.
No, none of them. No, well, they all saw the sale before it went on Steam, I think. You were able to get it for about $10 cheaper at the time, and Checker kind enough to announce it in advance so you could do that if you wanted, and they all did.
All right, well, they all picked it up, and they're all very skilled players making the top 4.
Yeah, Lazybear did indeed win the Challenger tournament last year. And he joined a little late. If I remember right, he was something like the 10 seed, too. He snuck up on people just a little bit. Obviously, once he scored his first big upset in the tournament, everyone was sort of onto it. But he was one of the dark horses going into that actual tournament. And he's one of those guys who picked up strength as the tournament went on because he was practicing between matches a lot.
Yeah, here comes the contact. We get some lowlights on some highlights. Like, there are no more highlights left in this party right now for Lazybear to look at. And Lazybear being a pretty behavioral sniper, that's actually pretty big, because his highlights aren't just for, like, hey, you're doing missions. It's more like, hey, I think you're the spy. Right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Like knocking out highlights against, say, Kaylee, who uses highlights strictly as a memory aid, is not as big of a deal as knocking out against someone behavioral who's going to be like looking much more at those highlights. And so this is a big deal. We pick up some inspects here along with a fingerprint on the statue.
And I said, there's a chance actually that Lazybear missed that fingerprint because he was paying a lot of attention to Queen and Pearls, the 2 old ladies in the back, and possible swaps, inspects, things like that. He was paying an inordinate amount of attention to that. So I think there's a chance that he's not being credited with that first print and that this might be a free mission right here.
Yeah. The only thing that makes me think that maybe Lazybear knows he has a print is the fact that there was a briefcase near there that was picked up as he was walking to the case. But I don't think he thinks he's done with print.
So
and that's gonna be huge.
I don't think he's done with print either. And what's interesting about this bar visit is it tells us something about what he's doing. He went to that statue for a print. He doesn't want to finish inspects. He wants to delegate and flirt, is what it looks like. Maybe BB. We'll see. That's a big choice right here. But the fact that he's going to bar makes me think he's not going to want to complete inspects unless something goes wrong.
Right. We only have 50 seconds left, though. And at 34% on the flirt. It's a little bit rough, but we just walk away without getting offered, and we're gonna go to statues. This might be a swap. Like it would be a little bit counterintuitive time to swap right now, and he's being looked at. Yeah, no, here it is. He's being looked at.
He zoomed out just as it happened, and the fin! The fin's gonna cover it! He's going to get away with this.
He looked for the swap right before the swap actually came off.
Yep.
He was doing his due diligence and looking for that swap. He was actually pretty suspicious of the possible swap finish.
Yep. So here's how that game gets won. The game gets won because he's a suspect, but there are too many others. So what he wants to do, what he wants so bad to do, is to look for the swap, and when he doesn't see it happen, immediately start looking at his other top suspects, right? If he's only got 1 or 2 top suspects, he can afford to stare a little longer, and he wins that game. But because he hadn't narrowed the party down a little bit more, he's very anxious to rule out the swap and move on, and he rules it out just a microsecond before the swap goes off, and Turnipboy wins again.
Yeah, it's 2-1 Turnipboy now. And we just had some spy party going on over here.
Yeah.
Spy fiesta, I guess? I mean,
yeah.
I don't want to call it...
You don't want to call spy party because that's the game, right? Sniper parties when the snipers win every game. So far, the spies are 3 for 3. It's Aquarium, man. We're trying to figure out what the meta is, and I think we're learning a little something about how viable spy wins are on it.
Early flirt, very, very standard. Always the standard start here for any enterprising spy. Get that early flirt down so you're not left stranded later on. Looks like we're gonna go for books. No, the shark's not here to cover us, but we do have another character to cover us, which can be good.
I think you already got the flirt out. So what this could just be, and this is actually something I think people should do a little more. You get credit for idling, for taking the book and not doing anything with it, and you get to run down that flirt timer and break up your flirts. It's a way to get something done while maybe even looking less suspicious sometimes. So Lazybear might dump that book. They might do a lot of things, but I like it just as this, frankly.
Yeah, like going to a window is not as convincing.
Mm-hmm. But you have to put that book back before the shark's covering for you. Otherwise, you're going to be credited with half a microfilm anyway, potentially. So I think you want to kind of get rid of it now. I mean, well, seriously, right? I mean, at that point, you almost might as well.
Yeah, you, the walking bug didn't take the reverse drive-by attempt.
In the red.
Here comes contact. This is a pretty good one. Cowboy splits, but he actually gets low it.
3 or 4, that's not bad.
Yeah, this is a pretty good contact. Plus, you're guaranteed to have a lot of people in for the contact, right?
Yep.
Unlike when you have to assume that the SDA is in a big conversation. Ooh, we get marked suspicious. Looks like we might have gotten marked for a flirt here.
Yeah, I don't like that, because you already had 85% and you were making good progress. I don't think you had to rush that. And now I'm worried that they're going to dump this book, and I think there's a decent chance that Turnipboy is going to be on it. Yeah, he's looking. He sees the bug.
Yep, and there's the shot. Turnipboy.
That fell apart quick.
Yeah, out in the lead 3-1. Now, I will remind you, this is how the last one started, with our lesser seed getting the early lead and end up not winning. However, again,
very easily.
Lazybear did not get to the spot on the back of like the same kind of skills you really need to win a full set with someone.
Yeah, certainly. What we're seeing so far from Turnipboy is just really solid spy play and mostly a lot of discipline. The only loss so far, that shot on Alice, the Smallman swap, which, unfortunate for sure, but if you are Turnipboy, you're feeling like, I don't feel like he's really beat me with a complete game yet, right?
Instant swap from Turnipboy. Instant swap.
Yep, I mean, you're going to be credited for it, but I think you might take that.
I mean, we are picking up highlights for statue visitors, so the highlight is just wrote for statue. Taft in the back blending in. Aw, he almost didn't pick up the highlight.
So what's interesting about this, and this is actually pretty powerful, I think, if you go behind the shark and potentially swap maybe at the end or something, that looks like a choice, right? That's very spy-like. On the other hand, if you get dumped there near the beginning like Turnipboy was, it's just sort of random. It's a lot harder to credit that instant swap when the spy doesn't seem to have made a choice to try to do it when it was blocked. That just lined up. So I think you take that.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you know in your mind as the sniper that you have to credit since you didn't check, right?
But it's not the same. It's not the same.
It's not the same as like being really suspicious of them.
Right, for a few reasons. One is that it doesn't show agency. If it is the spy, you're thinking, wow, they just got dumped there. That's lucky. You don't want to credit that because it wasn't a choice. The other thing being, on this venue, you're already crediting things like swaps and bugs near the end of the game or the middle of the game for 3 or 4 other characters sometimes. So it's not like Courtyard, where maybe you're going to have one person you're crediting for swap, and that looms large in your mind. In this one, they're part of a host of maybe 5 or 6 people you're crediting for a hard tell.
Yeah. All right, here comes Seduce into Contact, most likely. Get that flirt done. Well, not done, but 34%. I haven't seen. I don't think we've had a single double green flirt this time. This set, which is something that if you can do, you get a lot of advantage.
So only 3 people out for conversation.
Ooh.
Oh, he's assuming real. 3 people out for conversation.
Real, yeah.
One is an SDA, one was already a low light. Salmon, the only additional low light, except for the soft ones that Lazybear takes in that conversation. I gotta say, I actually like the move, if only because it was such a good BB that if you don't assume real, you get so little out of it. I would say the risk is probably justified at this stage in the game. That's kind of the thing, right? So maybe you don't want to take that chance of assuming real, but if the alternative is a BB that gives you almost nothing, that skews the risk-reward ratio.
The question is, does Lazybear remember who's been to statues now? Because his highlights were his memory aid for statues, right? So does he know of which are of the real BBs have been to statues?
Well, did he highlight for real BB? Because I see some neutral lights too. He low-lit, he assumed real and low-lit fakers. That's not quite the same thing. That's a crucial distinction with the highlights.
I did see him like move across, like Queen, for example, is up. Oh,
there it is. He's just crediting the swap. The mission count is
crediting. Yeah, that's exactly right. And even though he doesn't have the flirt done, you credit the flirt sometimes, and that's it. Lazybear picks up his second win.
That's a big one for him, actually. Turnipboy was threatening to kind of run away with that a little bit. I like the swap move. I'm just impressed that Lazybear was willing to kind of hold it in his head there, took the gutsy chance on assuming real, which really kept the party under control, where it maybe would have gotten away from him after that. I think, I'm not sure. You want to say it's the right shot because it was correct, but I think assuming the spy just happened to get dumped there and take advantage is still a little risky, but it works for him, and he's only 1 game away now.
Yeah, 3-2. And it's his turn to play spy, which so far has been, the winner.
Yeah, so far. Well, look. So we saw the numbers yesterday, and Checker did confirm that in day 1, the spies did win the majority of the games, if I saw correctly.
Yeah, just barely, like 51%.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's really something. We'll see how it holds up. I actually think that means it's still going to be a little sniper favored in the long term, maybe, because generally speaking, what happens is snipers catch up. To new venues, especially new venues with some sort of, you hate to say the word gimmick, right? But some sort of new wrinkle that they have to adjust to.
Oh, that was an attempted Twitch bug. And honestly, I think if you just standing bug normally there, you don't get.
Yes, I agree. I think the Twitch bugs. Oh boy.
Ooh.
And that's just over just like that. I think you're right. I think the in-conversation bug is actually kind of safer there. I think the Twitch bug is overthinking it a little bit. We'll never really know because he gets caught for the second one, though.
Yeah, and that puts Turnipboy right back in the lead, 4-2.
Yeah, this is sort of like holding serve a little bit. It doesn't work the same because obviously the sniper doesn't really necessarily have an advantage, or we think they might not have an advantage. Time will tell. But in a set this short, a little longer than the ones yesterday, of course, that two-game advantage is big.
Holding serve on these venues, these TNs and these aquariums is kind of an obsolete concept in some ways.
Mm-hmm. Right. So last set, obviously, Dowsy goes on a winning streak. That basically isn't possible on a lot of venues to win that many in a row. You just can't win that many spy games in a row, but you can here. So the thing that's interesting about Aquarium is that no lead is safe. You can't sit back and think, oh, well, I could lose the rest of my spy games and I just need to win half my sniper games, right? So that's almost certainly going to be fine because we're playing Courtyard or Library or whatever. That doesn't exist here. Every game is a dogfight.
Yeah.
Or a shark fight.
Shark fight. Okay. I think the shark memes. They have been numerous. As far as I'm aware.
We're scraping the bottom of the barrel.
All right. Turnipboy, early flirt. Something the classic, the standard.
Yeah, the standard. And it's just a venue where the standard flirt opening often makes as much sense. We were talking before about Dowsy sort of early flirt pairing. There's still only a handful of people who are going to punish you for it. And even if they do, if you're just a little careful about it, if you just make a cursory effort not to be too obvious, you're usually fine. But we did see a game that seemed to hinge on it earlier. Not an early flirt, but one by Windows that seemed to turn a game before.
It's a pretty good contact. We get a couple lowlights, one of them's being a highlight, but that's it. That is 2 lowlights, and that's
yeah. But how many lowlights is Smallman worth compared to a normal character? It's more than 1. It's not 5. It's not 10, but it's more than 1.
I'd wager around 2. 2.
Yeah, let's say half the size, twice the importance. That's the Smallman ratio.
But we are nearing halfway into the time allotted. We've only got 1 mission done.
I'm starting to think that the good banana bread might be as important here as it is on a lot of those 3-5 variants. So many people are going to theoretically finish, or you're going to have to credit for things so hard not to shoot, that the importance of a good banana bread seems particularly important on Aquarium.
Yeah, and it's actually harder to pull off than the 3-5. Like 3-5 variants, sometimes you can just get a contact with everybody in. Terrace especially.
Yep. The smaller it is, the easier it is.
Even on like Terrace, even though there's only one double agent, right?
Yep.
If everyone's in conversation, you just take the contact, even if you're in the wrong conversation, because
you might not get that opportunity here, and if you do, you might get 1. Yeah. So I think you got to take it when you get it. Turnipboy did, just good timing.
Yeah. I see. Chat's making puns for us.
I refuse to look. Out of general.
All right. Well, Turnipboy going over to the bar, getting that delegate. Only a minute left here. The question is, again, as always is with delegates sometimes. You have to know who's suspicious.
Yeah, and as you say that, he stands next to a highlight,
which is definitely the right move. If you know, it's actually a very skillful thing to know.
Yes.
Who is suspicious in the sniper's view? Who would be the most likely to get shot for a direct purloin.
And I don't know if this was skill-based or not, but he delegated just as the fin covered the 2 of them. It was perfectly timed in that regard.
Yeah, there's no way you get to see an animation break from Orange Dress or Talk. He sees the purloin go off.
Few more seconds.
And the shot comes off.
It works. So the purloin I think was right around 27. He shot at 19. He just was put to that choice. And you just got to say that's just down to great spy awareness of the party.
Yeah, and that I always say it, but I think that's awareness of the party and being very good at that is one of the things that I think separates, intermediate play from, getting into the top level spy play.
Right. And specifically, it's awareness with the party without sacrificing doing your own missions. It's doing both simultaneously or using every bit of downtime you have to notice that sort of stuff, being able to hold those 2 possibilities of both framing and mission completion in your mind at the same time, like Schrodinger's spy. Which one's it going to be? Be ready for either. That's what the best do. That's what guys like Canadian Bacon do. And that's what Turnipboy did right there. Very impressive. He left himself plenty of outs if the shot didn't come off.
Yeah. So, Lazybear taking up the early flirt, looks like.
And that's a huge win because Turnipboy's up 5-2 now.
Yeah, 5-2 is big.
Honestly, not just that, but let's just assume it's Turnipboy's destiny to finish second in everything. So he needs to make the finals and lose to Dowsy. He finished 1 slot short of the automatic promote in Challenger. Just 1 spot short of the automatic promote. So then he goes into the tournament instead for another automatic promote and finishes just shy there, too, second there as well. So it is his destiny, I think, to win this match and then possibly lose to Dowsy.
Yeah. I mean, Lazybear is a very strong player, so doing this is, Lazybear is in gold, right?
Yeah.
I mean, and not to say one venue is going to be the determiner of skill.
No, this one's pretty different.
Yeah. And not even an STL map yet.
Yeah. It's gonna be harsh though for Turnipboy. I like both these competitors a lot. If he does make it, I might have to root for him just because he's finished second in a row. Always a turnip bridesmaid, never a turnip bride. I would kind of love to see him break through here, especially because upsets are always exciting. And let's be honest, with the way Dowsy's playing, it would be a bit of an upset.
Yeah. And as far as people who are getting second and everything, Noob, myself.
Yeah, there's a club, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a club. Noob, myself, and Turnipboy like to get second a lot, it seems.
This club doesn't meet as often, but there have been 2 tag team tournaments, and I finished second in both of those too. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, tag team tournaments, honorary member over here, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I get grandfathered in.
The second place club, the worst club.
The second place club, yeah.
Lazybear picking up a highlight for statues. I think that here comes Swap. White Swap. I think he might be swapping for somebody.
I think he's got to be trying to frame here because the shark is covering it. By the way, that long tail, it's just become visible. Either if it's not a misclick, he's trying to frame. And Lazybear. So Lazybear did that earlier, obviously with the small munchies. This is what Lazybear is trying to do. So I absolutely believe that was intentional, and he's trying to get some one shot here. Yeah,
I don't think he can necessarily finish. He at best he could go to contact and then go to statues, but I imagine he'd get shot for statues, right?
Right, he's banking on the shot coming off, and the fact that it hasn't yet, pretty significant.
Well, there hasn't been a contact yet. I think he might be waiting for his for his swap frame.
Pretty good time right now. This is the chance.
Yeah.
Pretty good time. I think we lost track of who he was trying to frame. So if we don't know exactly what it is, it's plain twin. Okay, so this is almost perfect. Gotta do it now.
Yeah, here comes BB. And honestly, I don't think I don't think that Turnipboy's actually seen the swap.
Oh, and the twin. He might not have. He might not be sure it's there. The plain twin does accommodate by leaving a little afterwards. But he's at bookshelves, and a shot has not come off, and that means Lazybear, he's probably going to assume no shot's going to come off, and he's going to go inspect and finish soon, I think.
Oh, there's a shot?
The timing is odd.
He was there under the shark.
A little bit. Well, so he was there, but it wasn't bottom shark, right? So the arm would have been visible, a few other things would have been visible, his upper half was covered. I'm a little surprised that worked based on that time. I thought he'd resisted the shot prompt there.
Yeah, and that wasn't even plain twin. That was bling twin that he shot.
Wow. Well, that's another thing too, by the way. So from the top, think about what differentiates plain twin from bling twin. It's an earring, it's a tie pin, and it's a ring on one side. So from that angle, if you don't do the little hover over the portrait thing, you don't have any easy visual cues if you have to make a split-second decision.
And this is the exact reason I always use the bar at the bottom to distinguish my twins.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't want to hover over one because I think they might be the spy, I'll hover over the other. Process of elimination.
Yeah, I don't like the timing of that shot though. I don't think that there was a lot of good presence of mind there because I don't. Do you really think he's finishing microfilm? If you think he's finishing microfilm, fair enough. I just don't see how you could think that or not be pretty confident that he wasn't. And if he wasn't, it's 10 seconds after the BB. So I thought he was in the clear. That's why I was expecting Lazybear to go do something and no shot to come off. The timing of the shot, just a little perplexing to me. Again, unless he's like, oh God, I think I totally missed microfilm, which, why would you? Because presumably that's a pretty big suspect at that point.
Yeah. And now we're at, 5-3? Lazybear could bring this back? It's very possible. Now, Turnipboy, of course, is not a highlight because highlights are currently being used for statue visitors. And against people who use highlights for statue visitors, it's just not really intuitive to go to statues early. And, as I say that, Turnipboy steps into statues.
Well, if it's not intuitive, then that eventually makes it intuitive again. It depends, really. If you see a lot of early statue visitors, it's fine then, because then you got a lot of glowing friends.
Yeah, it's actually why some people low light for the really early statues.
Yes, yes.
Because it's suddenly... If you don't want to pick up those highlights, why would a spy go to early statues? And now it's because you want to pick up that low light for going to early statues.
It really depends on how the sniper treats their highlights. So obviously a sniper has a decision about what to highlight for, but they also have a decision for how to think about their highlights. Some people treat them like these people are suspicious. I will watch them closer. Other people just use it to track something or make certain things a little easier to see. I don't necessarily stare at people just because they have a highlight, right? So it doesn't necessarily indicate suspicion. If it doesn't indicate suspicion, it's not that much worse, especially on a venue with this much occlusion.
Yeah, you're glowing a bit, and as Taft, you don't get to blend in, but
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. It does preclude some cheese strats, but cheese strats not too common.
But yeah,
so
I
this is hey, look, sometimes there's nothing to say. It's okay. He's just chilling out. But I will say something. He's got half of inspects done. He's got over half the flirt done. He's got a fingerprint. Tons of options here. Tons. Especially if the AMBA goes to statues or bar. He can do 2 things at once, maybe 3. He could finish inspect, swap, and fingerprint in one go if he gets the right statue.
Yeah. But white BB here, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna knock out
Wow. Oh, that was quick.
I was worried that he got shot there, but no, it was on Alice. And Turnipboy.
That is the second aggressive Alice Civ shot we've seen in this set. So there might be something to this. You see this sometimes. I will see people take behavioral lowlights on library or modern against the slowest characters. The flip side is that on the bigger venues, people gravitate just a little bit towards the faster characters, and Alice is one of them. I have no issue assigning her an extra 5% suspicion on a big venue, the same way you might take a lowlight a little easier on someone like Pearls or Sorry on modern.
Right. I didn't really see what Alice did that game.
Me neither.
Maybe in Lazybear's mind that was completely justified shot.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there. I think the thing is you're a character on Aquarium for 3 straight minutes, so you are inherently suspicious.
Right.
And now Turnipboy has match point. He gets 3 shots at it here. Well, 2 of them are shots, so to speak. One of them is a metaphorical shot. 2 of them are literal shots.
This one is our literal shot.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, white test microphone early. See, the thing is about this is visible. He did it too late, but it wasn't seen. Looks like white test actually is kind of slow when you're trying to be under the shark as far as this goes.
Yes.
So you have to get there a little bit earlier if you're accounting for a white test, or you have to green test to really be invisible. Because I've been shot for white test microphones when I'm trying to be under the shark a lot.
Yeah, so I noticed this yesterday after about half the games. I realized that a lot of people were underestimating how long setup animations take. So they start to head to statues when the shark is just starting to cover it, and they realize the tail end of it, no pun intended, is not covering for them anymore. Same thing with the microfilm. People don't actually have a good sense yet of the extra 3 or 4 seconds it takes to get there, pause, pick it up, because you can't just spam those buttons without looking really suspicious.
Yeah.
But they'll get better at it. They will get better at it, but they're not yet. They're still misjudging it by 2 or 3 seconds very consistently.
And I think that's what makes Dowsy so strong on this map, going back to him a little bit. He in the games that we saw him play today and in his games yesterday, he showed a very strong understanding of where the shark will be and how it will cover vision for the sniper.
Right. So when we started playing this when it first came out, I was actually surprised at how it was pretty easy to get pretty good at the shark cover early on. After about 10 games, I feel like I had a decent handle on it. What I said at the time on stream too was that extra 20% of being really, really good at it, that's the thing that was going to take a little longer for most of us. But Dowsy seems to have mostly gotten there already. It seems like he's gotten that extra little margin of not just, I know when the shark's generally covering me, but I have a good sense of the entire time it's covering me at the end.
Yeah. Delegate timer expires, so we're not doing that. We're just kind of sitting here, getting the flirt done. Barely getting that flirt off before our ST leaves, which is actually quite nice.
Yes. Yeah, you'll take that every time.
Such since I don't think we really want to be timer flirting right now.
And there are a lot of highlights in this party. Lazybear might not know it, but they are in a pretty good position to win here, even if they don't finish. Oh, no!
Oh, no. Oh,
okay, we're good.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine. There was a briefcase there to cover.
And let's play my favorite game. Top suspect or lowlight?
The thing is, that was like... I imagine we were both watching from... Lowlight! It was lowlight!
There it is! It's one or the other! It's a knife's edge, I swear, with some of these weird pathing things.
Oh, the shot! He lowlights the spy and then just immediately shoots a civilian. So the spy doesn't even have to make use of the lowlight. It's
At
just
least
kind
he
of
doesn't
there.
have to feel bad about the lowlight. But I mentioned just like about 30 seconds before there, way too many highlights. I don't think he has to finish. That's the case here. There's just too much that could have been hidden. And Lazybear, creeping back into it, needs 2 more just to get to tiebreak, mind you.
Yeah, tiebreak is the goal for Lazybear right now. He cannot let up a game. He's going if he wants to win this, he's going to have to win 2 in a row and then again 2 in a row
At some point, yeah.
at some point in the future.
Yeah, I don't know if you believe in momentum. If you do, you would say that Lazybear in that scenario has an advantage. I don't know if I believe it or not, especially after the last set.
I mean, I don't know. Dowsy got like swung momentum. Like there are such things as momentum swings. So after last set, I'd be more likely to say I believe in momentum, honestly.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. The thing is it really momentum if it can change at a moment's notice? I don't know. This is an argument sports fans have been having for decades, by the way, and I think esports fans are going to have the same argument. But this game, I will say, I'm a lot more open to it in a game as psychological and nerve-wracking as this.
Early green flirt, which is just a fantastic opener. It really just frees you up for the rest of the game, knowing you have that flirt progress already.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier that if you can 2-flirt real quick and then just rush missions and make them shoot with 2:30 on the clock, that's very difficult. I would say it is exceptionally difficult on match point for the sniper to take that early shot when there have been so many civ shots already.
Alright, so Lazybear is going to be really suspicious of Seek right now. We need to be watching what Seek's doing, because Seek has to be credited with a bug right now, and it's credited with a fingerprint.
Mm-hmm. So here's what's interesting. We're seeing a lot of people shot for ostensibly finishing up with microfilm or something like that when they haven't. Have we actually seen a single completed microfilm, let alone a successful one in a spy win?
I'm
not sure if we have, and if maybe one time.
Was that last set?
We've seen a bunch of shots for people worried about microfilm, but we've seen very little microfilm. And to be honest, on my games yesterday, didn't see a lot of it then either. I think the meta so far has been, you know what, Purloin and Bug and Swap are so strong that microfilm is actually maybe not worth the risk for the most part.
Microfilm being left out in the dust again. Womp womp.
Yep. Yeah, I think that could change, but the thing is, in the early going at least, I think maybe it's the time. I think you're thinking those other 3 missions I just mentioned, you have so much more control over them time-wise. You can rush them, you can save them for late, whatever, and you can frame people. You can't frame someone for microfilm.
I do like getting an early single half microfilm if I can, just because it gives me that option later on to do.
Right, but you're doing a hardtail for an option. That's pretty rough, right? That's a risky trade.
Assuming I'm not invisible.
Right, that's true. That's true. I like it a lot more as the invisible hardtail.
Yeah, and
is it really a hardtail if a sniper can't see it? Is it a hardtail in the dark? Nope.
So I think Turnipboy has kind of recognized here that Lazybear's shots have been pretty erratic. Very okay. Very fast. So he's just kind of doing nothing. We're 3 minutes in and all we've got is a flirt.
But look at this. Not that many highlights. The party has actually been pretty kind to the sniper this time. So if Turnipboy is thinking, I'm just going to bank on a shot, he might have picked an unlucky game for it.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, I mentioned earlier, we should watch out for Seek being maybe getting shot. Seek's no longer a highlight.
Yeah, bump back down. So this has been a pretty manageable party so far. And at a certain point, maybe say with 40 seconds left on the clock, Turnipboy's probably going to realize this is not working and have to move the action here.
This might be a direct Purloin?
I'm not sure which I like more, to be honest with you. Does he have a good sense of who? Yeah, it's going to be a delegate. Who is he determined is the best frame target is the question. The ambassador, apparently, is the ideal frame target. No, I think it's going to be Bug. There's going to be BB, Bug, and yeah. I think he was actually going to think about finishing a whole bunch right there.
Oh, he just breaks animation delegate like that. And we just get shot for the Bug, yeah.
That is just down to A, a docile party, and if you want to be a little more generous, B, Lazybear's discipline on Sniper. Maybe a little bit of both, right? But that did feel like a docile party at just the moment that Turnipboy was banking, I think, on another Civ shot, and we are one game away from the tiebreak.
Yeah. If Lazybear can make this, they'll move into the sudden death over time, where either player scoring 2 victories in a row will make finals.
This is big.
Turnipboy is going to try to avoid it right here, right now, by sniping Lazybear.
And Dowsy was down 3 games and won. Lazybear was down 5-2 as well. We could have multiple 3-game comebacks, even in sets of this size, if Lazybear can pull this off.
Yeah, these are the same size as SCL sets except for overtime. So
right. But as you are learning yourself now as a new SCL entrant, boy, that still feels pretty short sometimes. It's
no kidding.
It's as long as it can be, given the time constraints for everybody involved, but it turns on so little still.
Yeah, absolutely.
They really do. Everyone knows that intellectually, but when you actually play it, you think, my God, it turns on a dime. And speaking of turning on a dime, Lazybear, instant redirect take control. Wow, okay. I don't know. I know it's not normally viable to watch for that, but it's something I still like to look for, and I'd like to think I would have caught that one. I don't know.
Yeah, it's actually more AI-like to turn on a dime, usually.
Yeah.
It
might have been like a bookcase redirect. I'm not sure the timing there with Twin. Maybe. You don't want to be doing it that early on if you can help it, but I don't think it matters. I think he's good.
All right. Well, Lazybear early green flirt the same way Turnipboy started off his last game. Lasers right in our back because we're right in the middle of the party.
Yeah, so you just got to ignore that, right? You're not getting laser burned. You're just in a really tenuous position. Yeah. There's not literally a target on your back, just metaphorically.
Get that low on Damon from Turnipboy. Very important.
Oh yeah, no, you don't want Damon blocking stuff. I do it anyway. Why not? Reduce all the visual noise you can. You need every little bit of help.
Doesn't Damon scare the ambassador away from that back statue?
There are some issues with that. Yes. There's a bit of a bug with ambassador proximity that's being fixed soon, hopefully.
Yeah. I didn't realize Damon would count for proximity, but
he's just so bad at his freaking job. It's really stunning. It really
is. He's so bad at his job he makes the ambassador feel uncomfortable.
Yes, yeah. That's what you want in a security guard. They make your dignified guests feel uncomfortable.
We do have the really early double green flirt though, as Lazybear, which is nice.
Yep. And with the BB right afterwards. Yep. So are they gonna rush? So tempting to rush here.
There are quite a few lowlights to get out of this one, but
and Smallman, the SDA is at bar, so let's see here. One of 6 people who could have done a real BB. One of them's already a low light. Not highlighting for it. I actually think this is a missed opportunity. Turnipboy could highlight 6 people for real BB right now.
Yeah.
Maybe just commit them to memory.
If there's only one conversation on this venue with real BB, I will almost always either highlight or commit to memory as fast as possible.
You need to. It's just such a gift, and it's bad luck for Lazybear too. And that's just going to be bug path. Got to credit the bug, but it's invisible.
Yeah.
And he's just going to direct here, I think.
It might be. Does he get shot for the direct? He's not a highlight right now, but he is one of the few.
It's not Top Shark though. Nope. He's not going to have any cover if he does it.
Got the list.
It's direct.
Does he get shot for it?
Big moment.
Got to make this decision.
Tiebreaker finals in 3 seconds.
And he makes it. Lazybear gets away with it, and it's 6-6. We're going into sudden death overtime for the tiebreaker.
That's something. Turnipboy didn't look like he and I said this before, right? The real win was not the delegate. The real win is getting to 3 missions without any suspicion, right? That's what I said before. That was the exact same thing here. And by the way, it happened with the same 3 missions, if I recall. It's seduce, flirt, seduce, contact, and an invisible bug you have to credit, potentially. That's what happened. I think that's the safe play in a lot of ways. So if you approach that bar, not a suspect, and just direct Purloin, they have to be looking for it if they're going to catch you. He wasn't enough of a suspect, but he should have been, because there were only 6 people who could have done a real BB.
Yeah, and as far as the invisible bug there goes, I honestly like Dowsy's better because he covered up the path too, but in this case, you just gotta credit that. It's something that you have to do on this venue. You have to credit those bugs. You have to get used to doing that.
Yeah, especially on the way to bar.
You have to get used to saying, "Hey, this person could have bugged.
Yep.
I can't do anything about that."
You have 6 people who could have done a real BB. One of them takes a possible bug path behind the shark, timed to be behind the shark, immediately goes to bar. There's a little over a minute left, so it could be a finish, clearly. I think at minimum, you need to be looking at them for it. Maybe you shoot the wrong person for a perceived delegate. I totally understand that. But I think you need to be looking closer at the bar there.
You know what I'd be interested to see? A delegate that forces them to path past the ambassador while the shark is there.
Yeah.
That would be fun to see.
It's, well, you just gave away your tech. I'm sorry.
Oh, damn. I should have been using that all game. All yesterday.
So, although what I like about that tech is, you can know someone wants to do it, and you still kind of have to credit it.
Yeah.
Because you could just do it, too. What if you do it with having said you wanted to do it, and you do the other way? You do it for real.
Yeah, you could be either one.
Either one. Lean into the 50-50. Although, on this venue, 50-50 might be a downgrade for the spy. I don't know if you do like coin flips as the spy on Aquarium.
It depends on the party, I suppose.
And the sniper. Yeah. I'll take it against Dowsy right now.
Right, exactly.
And remember, whoever wins this game will be on match point the next game. That's the way it works.
Turnipboy picks up a highlight. Going to statues. There was a difficult fingerprint on this. We could pick this up, and I think that would go unseen. Fingerprint red. Oh, that feels so bad. Because, you can hinge your entire game on a difficult fingerprint sometimes, just by getting that past them, and being able to say, hey, you only have me credited for one of these things.
Right. Yep.
We're picking up the quote-unquote second if Lazybear is on it, first if he's not, and first in reality.
But at least you missed it. You weren't banking on it at the end of the game. Now you can make decisions knowing you don't have that. He does make a decision. What he does is he goes and gets a sure fingerprint right afterwards.
Yeah.
So he wants to complete fingerprint. Yeah, certainly. That seems to be the goal here. Look at all these highlights. This is looking very dangerous for Lazybear right now. I
just think he'd have such a better odds at this game if he hits that fingerprint, because now he just need to go one more time to statue and contact, and as long as you make sure you're not ever near the ambassador while the shark is there, you actually have to actively avoid doing that to not be suspicious.
Right.
If you can do that, and they think, hey, I don't think this guy's got a bug.
Yeah.
That's when you win the game.
So there are a lot of people who have a lot of highlights, and it doesn't necessarily mean they're behind. They're still really good. Kaylee is like that, for example. He's still going to wait for one of them to do a hard tell. It helps, but it doesn't matter as much. But there are other snipers who play a little more intuitively. Oh! Wow! I think there must have been an etiquette break or something. Jeez, I think maybe he's just worried that it's going to be inspect swap late. I was just going to say, though, that I thought Lazybear was in huge trouble because he seems to really win or lose based on those highlights, whether or not he can corral them late in the game, because he really does assign, it seems like, general suspicion sometimes. So speaking of general suspicion, though, a little too suspicious, but it works out. That was not intentional, by the way. And Lazybear is one game away from pulling off the same general nature of comeback that Dowsy did.
Yeah, and I think that he credited at least one of those statues with a difficult fingerprint, because the one he picked up also had a difficult fingerprint on it that he could have picked up.
Yes.
And if he swaps back there, suddenly he's done with all of his missions.
Right.
I think I think Lazybear was aware there was a difficult fingerprint on at least one of those two statues, if not both. If he was aware of at least one, he shoots there.
So that's the thing. So you get away with a difficult maybe, right? Because it's very hard to reliably track those, be sure about them, let alone just shoot for them even if you are tracking them. But if you go to 2 and they remember you were even at 2, then it looks like you're really trying to force the mission. So that is much riskier. I almost wonder if at that point you're safer with a normal fingerprint.
Right. Oh no, Lazybear. Can't get back there. Has to turn around.
I feel like they were going to maybe hide with that thin character and do a time ad. I think maybe that was the goal here. We do have a generally brown-clothed character, too, and a very slender one at that.
You really like that generally right now, don't you?
It's happening accidentally. I swear to God. I swear to God. They also seem to be picking general a lot, but maybe that's just me. It was definitely those last 2 games.
Don't worry. I understand. Sometimes I'll say a specific word or phrase a lot. Just
Yep.
During a specific amount of time.
Yeah, we've all got our crutch phrases. I've had mine for sure. And then you listen to the cast later, and you're like, "My God, do I know any other words?" Lazybear has an early flirt and is going to go to bar and give himself some options. I really think they wanted that time ad, though. I think that was the plan. And the real question is Turnipboy already onto them for it?
Fingerprint drink. It's a green. This one, Lazybear hits his green fingerprint. Now, it was fairly soon after the ambassador left the bar, but, like, for example, Duke has 2 hard fingerprints. He's done with fingerprints as far as missions go. So, and I think Lazybear should know this. Lazybear should be aware that Duke is done with fingerprints. Absolutely.
Someone pointing out, Alice has been shot. We were talking about before. Alice has been shot an inordinate amount in these games. So Lazybear just says, you know what? Let's go a little gambler's fallacy here. Alice isn't going to get shot again, right?
Assuming those odds are.
How does it work psychologically? I don't know. Is this good? Is this brilliant or really, really dumb? I have no idea. That's Spy Party.
Just lowlight Alice later on, randomly shoot her.
The new meta is highlight Smallman and lowlight Alice immediately. Yeah.
But maybe Turnipboy is like got some kind of unconscious aversion to shooting Alice now that he's been.
I don't know. I mean, I've met the character she's based on. I feel like that makes me feel a little bad every time I shoot her. That's a pretty good banana bread.
Yeah, that's what two lowlights for that, and some people leave afterwards. So
one of them is an SDA who leaves and immediately enters another conversation too. So that could really kind of throw off their count about who has a.
Yeah, the SDA is moving soon after the BB. So it can sometimes really mess me up if I'm focused on lowlighting instead of counting who has the real BB at the time.
Yep, and he went to another conversation, too. He didn't just leave. He went to the other one, which had, I think, 5 people in it at the time. So that could really muck things up if Turnipboy's paying a lot of attention to that.
Yeah. Looks like we might go and flirt at Blue Bookcase, and that's exactly what we're doing here. Hope our SC doesn't leave. Okay, he just puts the book back, so we have time for the animation. I don't think there's a fingerprint on this, if Lazybear is one to want that. I think he might try to do a fingerprint. Yeah, well, obviously
this is really rough. It really feels like Lazybear has been waiting for a good time to get the second fingerprint, and it's just never come. And now they have to change their whole game plan. That's kind of a bug path without a bug. Oh boy.
Let me just rewatch that real fast.
And let's see. That's a fingerprintable statue, and Turnipboy's looking at Rocker. I don't think he's looking at Alice at all. He's gonna have a couple seconds to check this out.
Yeah, this might just be it.
He's not looking.
He took the talk on Rocker, and that's it. Lazybear comes back to win the set. Both of our top seeds going into the finals. First seed, Dowsy. Second seed, Lazybear. Facing off in the finals in just a moment.
Yep. Hot new aquarium strats. Fall behind 3 games and win anyway. Apparently, it's the only way it's done. This one a little less dramatic maybe than the Dowsy one, as it turns out, but just really solid play. I think at the end, what happened is Lazybear's spy just sort of chilled out a little bit. And I want to say, by the way, on the splash screen here, big thanks to Furby Fubar for providing the swimming Smallman, as I'm calling it, whose flippers are as long as the rest of him. The 2 most infamous and scary things on Aquarium are the shark and the Smallman.